And so we'll make it as brief as possible so we can go into the business of the day. We would want to start by requesting that our own chairman, House Committee on Army, Honorable Abdulrazak Saad Nangas, should please lead us in an opening prayer. Thank you.
Almighty God, the Lord of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide us, all our counsels and actions, so that we will always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us through thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. Amen.
Thank you very much. I would like to please apologize if I did not take the military hierarchy in order. Because we are Nigerians and we pledge our allegiance to this great country, may I request that we all rise to take the national anthem. Thank you. One, two, go. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this event, as you all know, is a very important event, and seated before the members of this ad hoc committee are the nominees of Mr. President for the position of the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Lucky E.O. Irabo, the Chief of Army Staff, General Ibrahim Atahiru, the Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, and the Chief of Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Olushayo Amao. These persons will be screened by this committee that the Speaker deemed very fit to set up. And I think it is worth taking seriously. Having said that, may I request that the members, so that we know ourselves, kindly introduce themselves the other. Thank you.
We'll start the introduction of members from... Okay. Mr. Chairman, honorable members, our invited guest, my name is Jafar Ribadu. I represent Yola, not Yola South Gira Federal Constituency. I am from Adamawa State. You are welcome.
Our respected chairman, my colleagues, our guest, my name is Honorable Nasiru Abdua Gabasawa. I'm representing Gezawa Gabasawa Federal Constituency. I'm from Kano State.
You're watching a live broadcast of screening and confirmation of the service chiefs being conducted by the House Committee on Defense. In attendance, we have the service chiefs present, Major General Lucky Irabo, the Chief of Defense Staff. We also have Major General Ibrahim Atahiru, the Chief of Armed Staff. Rear Admiral Awal Gambo,
Mr. Chair, respected colleagues,
Chief of Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Amao, Chief of Air Staff. This is the first time that the House of Representatives will be conducting a screening and confirmation of the service chiefs. It's usually done by just the Senate. The screening proper will be done behind closed doors, but this is the opening ceremony.
Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues,
The House Committee is also chaired by Babaji Benson.
I represent the
In
people of
attendance are the various chairmen of the House
Constituency.
Committees on Army, Air Force, and Navy.
Our guest, I remain the Honorable Francis Otabo. I represent the long-suffering people of Ado Opoku Obadibo Federal Constituency. I am proudly Benue, the Food Basket State. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues. Amejaha Babao is my name. I represent the extremely displaced, victimized by Boko Haram constituency of Chibok, Dambua, and Goza Federal Constituency, including the remaining 109 not yet recovered Chibok girls. I am a member of Committee on Army. Chairman, honorable colleagues, my name is Tajuddin Adefisoye. I represent the good people of Idori Federal Constituency. I am from Ondo State, and I am the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Army. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, my respected colleagues, the Honorable Minister, our invited guest here, my names are Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent the good people of Malamadori Kaugama Federal Constituency. I'm the Deputy Chairman, Defense. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, most respected colleagues, our invited guests, I am Honorable Captain Ajao Jacob Adejuma. I represent the people of Ogbomoso North, Ogbomoso South, and Orire Federal Constituency. I am from Oyo State, and by the special grace of God, I'm the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Navy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Co-Chairman. My name is Honorable Abbas Adigun. I represent everybody from Ibadan Southeast, Ibadan Northeast Federal Constituency. I'm the Deputy Chairman on Air Force. Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, standing on the established protocol, Egbero Muftar is my name. I represent Apapa Federal Constituency, Lagos State, a member Committee on Navy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Okay, Chairman himself.
Thank you, Chairman, the co-chairs, honorable colleagues, our distinguished guests, starting from the Honorable Minister of Defense, the nominees, the service chiefs to be. My name is Honorable Dr. Mohammed Shehu Koko from Kebbi State. I chair the House Committee on Air Force. Thank you very much.
The chairman of this ad hoc committee and chairman defense, my colleagues chairman of Armed Force Committee, my colleagues members of the National Assembly House of Reps, Mr. Minister, invited guest, I'm Right Honorable Yusuf Adamu Gagdi. I represent Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency of Plateau State. I am Chairman House Committee on Navy. Thank you.
My chairman, co-chairman on the high table, nominees, Minister of Defense. My name is Abdurazak Saad Namdas. I represent the good people of Ganye, Jada, Tongo, Mawe, I'm from Adamawa State, and I'm also the House Committee Chairman on Army.
Honorable members of the committee, Honorable Minister, the nominees here present today. My name is Baba Jimmy Benson. I represent the very good people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency in oil-rich Lagos. I am chairman of this committee and also double as the chairman, House Committee on Defense.
Ladies and gentlemen, I saw one member just walk in. Sir, could you kindly introduce yourself to?
Mr. Chairman, fellow colleagues, the service chiefs here present, I remain Honorable Lawal Abdullahi Kenka. I represent Wale Federal Constituency of Kano State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members and members of the committee for the introduction. We would move on for want of time, and we would like to quickly invite the chairman of this committee to please give us his opening remarks. Honorable Babajimi Benson, please. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, Honorable Minister, Special Advisor to the President and House of Reps, the nominees here present today, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. The House of Representatives at its plenary on February 10, 2021, read a request from Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief informing the House of the nomination of Major General Lucky E.O. Irabo, Major General Ibrahim Atahiru, Rear Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, and Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Olushayo Amao for appointment as Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, and Chief of Air Staff for the Armed Forces of the Federation. In that same letter, Mr. President presented these nominees for confirmation in accordance with the provisions of Section 18 of the Armed Forces Act, Cap 20, Law of the Federation, 2004. Chapter 2 of our Constitution affirms that the security and welfare of the people shall be the purpose of government. Working with the executive, the House of Representatives intends to ensure that the government lives up to this noble creed. This is why we plan to engage robustly, but also constructively with the nominees, and if confirmed, provide them with the support they need to succeed. The essence of the framers of our Constitution requiring the service chiefs to be confirmed by the National Assembly is to reiterate the supremacy of civil authority over the military in a constitutional democracy. We shall therefore take our role very seriously, and we intend to discharge our responsibility diligently on behalf of Nigerians. Nigeria as a country is blessed with brave and gallant soldiers, many of whom have paid the supreme price in service to the country. It is to their memories that we must get it right with our national security and help secure the peace for which they lost their lives. We are therefore here today to perform the screening exercise of the nominees as part of the legal confirmation process. From the inception of this ninth House of Representatives, national security has been discussed more than 200 times at plenary. Yet the nation is still grappling with diverse and increasing security challenges, despite some successes recorded by the gallant men and women of our armed forces. While I appreciate that there is no single magic solution, I believe the kind of leadership provided to our armed forces is part of the solution mix. I can assure you, Nigerians, that the nominees will be grilled on questions covering a wide range of subjects. Areas in which they will be questioned include professional skill and expertise and experience, Nigeria's war on terror and insurgency and insecurity in general, funding of the military, strategic security knowledge and vision of the nominees, finally, and welfare of the military personnel. We are aware of the many sensitivities around national security matters, and because of our desire to robustly engage the nominees to a level of granularity across many subject areas, we have decided to conduct these vigorous exchanges behind closed doors. This will not only help protect national security, but more importantly, also give the nominees the freedom to respond more adequately, comprehensively, expansively, without any fear of an unwitting exposure of sensitive information. After my opening remarks, the nominees will have the opportunity to state their vision and aspiration for their respective roles. We will then be conducting the screening individually for each nominee in closed sessions. Over the next days, we will compile our notes, deliberate fully and extensively as a committee, and submit our report and recommendations to plenary next week. It is my hope that the frank, constructive engagement we will have today with the nominees will be the flavor of future encounters, and if they are confirmed by the National Assembly. National security requires an all-government approach. We in the House of Representatives will continue to engage constructively with the government and provide any support needed to strengthen the hands of our gallant men and women in uniform to successfully secure our nation and provide the peace and stability needed for economic growth and development of our country. I would also like to thank Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, for appointing these new hands to steer the ship of the nation's services at these precarious times. I want to thank you all for coming today. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I would want to believe that he deserves a better round of applause, please. Thank you. We are moving. We're moving with the speed of light.
You just listened to the speech of the Chairman, House Committee on Defense,
Honorable Minister of Defense.
This exercise is very important for members of the National Assembly, especially the House of Reps, because not only are they for the first time, the House has joined the calls for Nigerians for the removal of the initial service chiefs. Up next to speak is the Minister of Defense.
the chairman committee of the screening committee and the chairman of the Ministry of Defense. The chairman committee on the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force, and other members of this committee. I am here purposely to acknowledge the importance of this event. And for that reason, I want to comment on the cooperation, the speed in which this screening is taking shape. The Commander-in-Chief approved the nomination of 4 of our military leaders. That is the Office of the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, and the Chief of Air Staff. We are aware of the constitutional provision that all nominated candidates should be screened by the National Assembly before they are confirmed as members of their various organs that they are to lead. I'm happy that we did not run foul of the law. We think the time we are asked to come here and the time the nomination is made, we have been in order. This is to say that once the nomination is announced, we inform the members, but because we don't call them designate, we refuse to allow them to wear the ranks of their appropriate offices. If you see them here, they are wearing the old rank of Major Generals, whereas the CDS is supposed to be a full general, while the service chiefs should be Lieutenant Generals. Let me assure you that the armed forces of Nigeria today are fully aware of its constitutional role, and we are prepared more than ever before to subordinate the military to the civil authority. That we will do in order to promote the cohesion and national unity in the country. I have no doubt that those selected or those nominated by Mr. President will no doubt make this country very proud. I hope the Senate will recognize the importance of the assignment, in which even today we have some major setback somewhere, but we are capable. As soon as we finish this assignment, the appropriate service chiefs will take care of that responsibility. I stand on behalf of the service chiefs and the CDS to assure you that we will promise to deliver the necessary expectations from members of the country and the House of Assembly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Defense, for that
speech by the Minister of Defense, Bashir Magaji, giving assurances that the armed forces is fully aware of its constitutional role, and he is confident that the nominees of the president will make the country proud, and that would have to be in primarily tackling the insecurity currently bedeviling the country. He says the service chiefs will deliver. Nigerians had initially questioned the former service chiefs on their ability to deliver, so this task, the task before the service chiefs are very huge, and Nigerians would have to understand.
The CDS kindly the nominee CDS. This CDS designate. Kindly let us know, let Nigerians know the vision you have. Kindly run us through your CV to let Nigerians know who you are and what you have to offer. Yes, please come to the podium.
All right. The chairman of the screening committee, who is also the chairman of the House Committee on Defense, the chairman of the House Committee on the Army, as well as that of Navy and the Air Force, honorable members of this very distinguished committee, the Honorable Minister of Defense, my colleagues, the nominated service chiefs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me, first and foremost, before running through my curriculum vitae, appreciate the members of this committee and, by extension, the larger National Assembly for the honor to appear before you. I am Major General Lucky Eluonye Onyenuchia Irabo. I hail from Aliokpo, Eneka South Local Government of Delta State. Without giving details of all the schools that I attended, suffice to say that I attended Eka Grammar School, Agbo, and thereafter proceeded to the Nigerian Defense Academy as an officer cadet, and thereafter was commissioned in 1986. From there, I proceeded to the Obafemi Awolowo University, where I studied electrical electronics engineering. I've had extensive courses covering both military and other spheres as it pertains to my career as an officer of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic. In the course of my career, I've equally held appointments both on the command, instructional, as well as staff, many of which perhaps in due course will be given in my CV. But suffice to mention that on the command, I was one time the commanding officer of 515 Signal Regiment. I was equally the commander of 53 Signal Brigade. I was also the Theater Command Operation Lafia Adole, as well as the Force Commander Multinational Joint Task Force. Until my recent nomination and appointment by Mr. President, I was the commander of Training and Doctrine Command, Nigerian Army. May I also say that as on the staff, I was one time the Chief of Defense Training and Operations, and I've also had different appointments both at the services as well as the defense headquarters. If you permit, Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of this committee, I'd like to also indicate that I've had extensive experiences with respect to operations, both in Nigeria as well as under the auspices of the ECOMOG and the United Nations. Within the country, as mentioned, as part of my tour of duty as a commander, the operations in the Northeast currently ongoing, wherein we're dealing with issues of terrorism and insurgency, I served, and my colleagues, almost all my colleagues that are also nominated were part and parcel of that experience. And I believe that as we interact further, perhaps the details of our engagement will be made known. Also, while serving in ECOMOG, I operated both in Liberia and Sierra Leone, and thereafter I was part of the contingent of the United Nations also that later on stabilized Liberia as well as Sierra Leone. Just distinguished chairman and members of this committee, I would like to indicate that if I am confirmed, my intention is to foster a professional armed force that is capable of meeting effectively the imperatives of the Constitution. And now, by so doing, I intend that I have some pillars that are, allied to this broad focus of leadership. Whereas it might not come out as a vision, because I believe that visions are meant for institutions and not for individuals. But of course, as a military commander, I intend to have a leadership focus and philosophy and outlining the broad areas. And to this, I intend to see a very professional armed forces, an armed forces that is effective, an armed forces that is agile, an armed forces that is result-oriented, and of course, that is loyal to constituted authority. Perhaps, if you permit me, I may take a pause. I believe that as we engage in this hearing, the details of what I intend to implement when I'm confirmed will be made known to this committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. The nominee, you may please take your seat. I would also like to invite the nominee, Major General Ibrahim Atahiru, to please come to the podium and explain his CV and also his vision to us.
Mr. Chairman, our distinguished Honorable Chairman, House Committee on Defense, and Chairman of the Screening Committee, Honorable Chairman of the House Committee on the Army, Navy, and the Air Force, other very distinguished members here present, Honorable Minister of Defense, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I am Major General Ibrahim Atahiru, born 54 years ago in Kaduna, North Local Government of Kaduna State. I am a graduate of Rimi College, Kaduna, and also the prestigious Nigeria Defense Academy, Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, and the Nigerian Army School of Infantry. About 34 years ago, started cadet training in the Nigerian Defense Academy and was commissioned second lieutenant in 1986 as an infantry officer. I've held several appointments on the staff, instructional, and in command in the course of my military career. I had a tour of duty with the United Nations in Sierra Leone as a military observer, where I had the opportunity of facilitating United Kingdom military engagement Operation Barras in September 2000. I was an operations officer and later company commander in about 19 ECOMOG operations in Liberia, as well as Sierra Leone. I had the unique privilege of having commanded all through the chain of command. In other words, I've commanded from platoon to the division. Prominent among those appointments are Commanding Officer 146 Battalion in Operation Harmony. Operation Harmony is the operations in Bakassi Peninsula. I was Commander 13 Brigade, Nigerian Army. I was a General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army. I was equally privileged to be Theater Commander Operation Lafia Dole. It is on record the relative stability being enjoyed in the northeastern part of Nigeria was recorded through this period. On the staff, I have been Adjutant 7 Battalion of the Nigerian Army, General Staff Officer, Grade 1 Training and Operation on the staff duties and plans at Headquarters 1, 2, and 81 Division of the Nigerian Army. I was a Deputy Director of the Military Secretary, Director of Staff Duties at the Army Headquarters. I was equally privileged to have been Chief of Defense Transformation and Innovation, Chief of Defense Logistics at the apex organ of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. In this position, I had the opportunity to work with the United States Defense Logistics Agency on the vertically integrated logistics approach towards enhancing operational readiness in the Nigerian Armed Forces. On the instructional, I have been an instructor at the Depot Nigerian Army, at the Nigeria Defense Academy and the School of Infantry. I had the opportunity of being a directing staff and chief instructor at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College. I have been exposed to leadership and professional development programs globally and in renowned institutions. I was at the National Defense College, Kenya for the National Defense Management and Security Studies course. I was at the Chinese People's Liberation Army Special Forces School for Commando Operations. I have undertaken leadership courses at the prestigious Kennedy School of Government and the Graduate School of Media and Communication. I was at the Beaumont University for Disaster Management Center. I was at the Geneva Center for Security Policy. I have several honors and awards. I hold 2 master's degrees in strategic management and policy studies from Nigerian Defense Academy and a master's degree from human resource management and development from Salford University in the UK. Let me appreciate the National Assembly once again for giving me opportunity to be in their midst. I also want to show my gratitude to Mr. President for finding me worthy for this appointment. Let me also assure the National Assembly that I will provide the right leadership for the Nigerian Army in these very trying times of our nation's history. All this will be hinged on my command philosophy. Let me start with the vision. I want a Nigerian Army that is repositioned to professionally defeat all adversaries in a joint environment. Emphasis will be particularly on whole of government approach and whole of society approach, where each and every Nigerian will be part of the security architecture to bring an end to our current problems. The vision is undergirded within the command philosophy on specific pillars: readiness, duty to country, dependability, and continuous leadership development. For particular emphasis, readiness will entail mission readiness, training, functional manning and equipment. Duty to country, we'll talk about loyalty and sacrifice to the fatherland. Dependability will be on the Nigerian Army capacity and capability to accomplish mission, and continuous leadership development will be an army that will be innovative. We have innovative leadership into the 21st century. Having said that, I think with these few remarks, the committee has a better view of who the Chief of Army Staff designate is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief of Army Staff designate. You may please take your seat.
First by the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Loki Rabo, and then
I'd now
Major
like
General
to invite
the Chief of Army Staff.
the Chief of Naval Staff designate to please come to the podium and address us.
The Chief of Defense Staff designate, as the case may be, says he's already experienced with fighting at forefront, and so are the rest of his colleagues who have also been nominated. Up next to speak now is the Chief of Naval Staff designate.
The Chairman, House Committee on Defense, and Chairman of this screening committee, Honorable Baba Jimmy Benson, the Chairman, House Committee on Army, the Chairman, House Committee on Navy, and the Chairman, House Committee on Air Force, other distinguished members of this screening committee, the Honorable Minister of Defense, the Presidential Liaison Officer to the National Assembly, Umar El Yaqub, the Chief of Defense Staff, and other service chiefs,
Please, I want 3 drop silence.
senior military officers, distinguished invited guests, members of the 4th Estate of the Realm, gentlemen. I am Rear Admiral Awal Zubairu Gambo, and I hail from Nasarawa Local Government of Kano State, born 22nd April 1966. I attended, among other institutions, Rufa College, where I graduated with the school certificate. I was a member of the 36th regular course NDA. And I start by acknowledging the Almighty God for his benevolence that resulted in my being favored with appointment as the 21st Indigenous Chief of the Naval Staff. I express appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari, who, finding me worthy among many other equally qualified and competent colleagues, to be appointed. The appointment is particularly significant, coming at a critical time that our nation is facing many security challenges, and I am honored to be part of the team that has been assembled to address these challenges. Distinguished members of this committee, a broad look at my resume shows a career path spanning over 3 decades, during which I received quality military and professional training at home and abroad, and served in diverse capacities ashore and afloat in the Nigerian Navy. I also made modest efforts at self-development, as evidenced by my academic qualifications that I acquired, as well as my membership of some professional bodies. I am here before this honorable and distinguished committee, an operations naval officer with a background in intelligence, a military diplomat, and an administrator. However, I am not under any illusion that all these aforementioned attainments can solely, by themselves, earn me success as the Chief of the Naval Staff, if confirmed. I need a great deal of the loyalty, cooperation, commitment, knowledge, and skills of all officers, ratings, and civilian staff of the Nigerian Navy, and my goal is to optimally harness this for the benefit of the service and the nation. Distinguished committee, sir, if confirmed as the Chief of the Naval Staff, I intend, as my vision, to leverage on all factors of national location, technology, training, teamwork, and synergy to re-energize the Nigerian Navy and enhance her as a well-motivated and ready naval force in the discharge of her constitutional mandate and other tasks in fulfillment of national security objectives. I thank you for this opportunity and look forward to the closed session where more details will be revealed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, designate CNS. You may please take your seat. Last but not the least, I'd like to invite the Chief of Air Staff designate to please approach the podium.
Thank you, sir.
The Chairman Screening Committee, also the Chairman House Committee on Defense, Chairman House Committee on Air Force, Chairman House Committee on Army, and Chairman House Committee on Navy. Other honorable members of the Screening Committee, the Honorable Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff designate, and my colleagues, the Service Chief designates, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. I am Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Oladayo Amao, born on the 14th September 1965 at Enugu State. I am from Oshogbo local government of Oshogbo, Osun State. I attended my primary schools at New Bamali Primary School, Kaduna, as well as Command Secondary School, Kaduna. You can see I'm a true Nigerian. Okay, I enlisted to the Nigerian Air Force on the 19th January 1984 as a member of 35th Regular Course and was commissioned pilot officer on 20th December 1986. From then, I progressed steadily through the ranks until I was promoted Air Vice Marshal on 19th January 2015. I have attended so many military courses, which include the primary and secondary flying training courses in Kaduna and Kano. I'm a fighter pilot and also an instructor pilot. I also have master's degrees in defense and strategic studies from University of India, that's University of Madras, India, as well as Master of Military Science and Strategy from the University of China. I've had several appointments that have given me weight of experience in the Nigerian Air Force. I have both operational and administrative experience, and among the command appointments I've had include the Commander 407 Air Combat Training Group, Kainji. I was the Commander 103 Strike Group, Yola. I was also the Air Component Commander, Operations Zama Lafia and Operations Lafia Duli. I was also a Deputy Theater Commander, Operation Lafia Duli. The period I was the commander in the operation was when our territories were in the hands of the Boko Haram, and we fought gallantly to collect back those territories. That was 2015, 2016. I was also the Air Officer commanding Tactical Air Command in the Nigerian Air Force, and before my appointment by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, I was the Commandant Armed Forces Resettlement Center at Oshodi. I've had several staff appointments. I was the Deputy Defense Advisor to Nigerian High Commissioner in London, and I also became the Acting Defense Advisor at the Nigerian High Commission in London. I was Assistant Director of Operation in the Defense Headquarters, and I've also had operational appointments at the Nigerian Air Force Headquarters. I was the Director of Operation, and I was the Chief of Training and Operation in the Nigerian Air Force. I was also the Director of Policy, and I've also had the appointment of Chief of Policy and Plans, Nigerian Air Force. I think with all this, I can see that I'm well prepared to handle the job of the Chief of the Air Staff. Well, my vision for the Air Force, or my focus for the Air Force, if elected, is stemmed from the mission of the Nigerian Air Force itself. The mission of the Nigerian Air Force is to ensure the integrity of airspace by gaining and maintaining control of the air while retaining a credible capability to fulfill other air power tasks demanded by national defense and security imperatives. From this mission of the Nigerian Air Force, I have carved out my focus to enhance and sustain critical air power capability required for joint force employment in pursuit of national security imperatives. And I have the key drivers for this vision. I'll be focusing on doctrinal development and application of air power in joint military operation. I will pursue purposeful training and human capacity development. I will also ensure that I sustain platforms and equipment serviceability through innovative maintenance method and logistics support system. Of course, we are going to foster a disciplined workforce essential for combat readiness, and also booster morale for improving personal welfare. The chairman, sir, and the distinguished honorable members of this house, these are my CV and vision. Thank you very much, sir.
Receive resounding applauses from Nigeria, but we'll not let that sway us in taking our decisions. So we've heard from them. We've given the press the opportunity to hear and listen to the 4 nominees. Accordingly, we are going to go into the closed session in a minute. I hereby declare this open session closed. So the second.
Well, that ends the opening session of the screening and confirmation process of service chiefs. The House of Representatives will now go into a closed door session where the screening will be conducted behind closed doors. It will be conducted by the House Committee on Defense, chaired by Honorable Babajimi Benson. Well, for the service chiefs, the hope of Nigerians, and as canvassed by experts, is for them and the security agencies in general to work together in terms of intelligence sharing to bring an end to insurgency and banditry. Well, that's it from Channels Television's live broadcast of the screening and confirmation process of the service chiefs. We'll now return to our regular programming.